The rain was coming sideways across the empty streets of Fremantle when Detective Mia Lawson found the first clue: a single blood-stained playing card tucked beneath a broken cafe window. Within hours, a second card appeared on the doorstep of the city's most powerful developer. By dawn, a third. Someone was dealing death across Western Australia, and the message was clear. The final card would fall at midnight. To stop a killer who knows every move before the police can blink, Mia must risk everything, including the one secret she's hidden her whole life. The first card, the wind that scoured Fremantle's harbor, carried a sharp, salty sting, the kind that crept beneath jackets and settled into bones. Detective Sergeant Mia Lawson tightened the collar of her navy coat as she stepped out of her unmarked Commodore. The early morning drizzle slicked the bitumen, turning the wharf's lights into a smear of gold on black water. A uniformed constable waited near the broken cafe window, breath fogging in the chill. "G'day, Sarge. Owner found the place like this at 5. No alarm tripped, door was locked from the inside." Mia crouched to examine the jagged glass. The break was deliberate, too neat to be the work of a drunk or an opportunistic thief. Her torch beam swept the ground, landing on something that didn't belong. A playing card, face down, damp but intact. She flipped it with a gloved finger. The ace of spades. The black surface was smudged with crimson. Blood. Fresh enough that the rain hadn't washed it away. "Who's missing a pint of blood?" Mia muttered, half to herself. The constable shifted uneasily. "Forensics on the way. No sign of a break-in beyond the glass. No valuables taken either. Just that card." Mia bagged the evidence and straightened, her eyes scanning the quiet waterfront. Fremantle at dawn usually smelled of roasted beans and baking bread. Today it reeked of iron and foreboding. Back at Perth City Station, the card sat beneath harsh fluorescent lights while Senior Forensic Officer Kai Rennick worked his magic. "Human blood," Kai said, adjusting his glasses. "Type O negative. No prints. Whoever left it wore gloves or has skin smoother than a dolphin." Mia leaned against the bench. "Any DNA? Running it now. But get this, blood's only a few hours old. Midnight, maybe later." She considered the time frame. "So someone bleeds, leaves a calling card, and vanishes before the sun's up." Kai's brow furrowed. "Ace of spades, hey? That's the death card in old folklore." Mia hated theatrics. Folklore doesn't kill people. People do. By mid-afternoon, news of the death card had already leaked. Reporters clustered outside the station gates, cameras hungry. Mia ignored them as she strode to the incident room. Her partner, Detective Cal Ward, tossed a newspaper across the table. "Card killer? They don't waste time." "They never do," Mia replied. "But we're not calling them that." Cal grinned. "Sure we aren't." The grin faded when a courier burst through the door holding a sealed envelope. "For Detective Lawson," he said, eyes darting around the room. Inside was another playing card, the Queen of Hearts, and a single line of block letters. Next move, midnight. That evening, the city braced for a storm. Mia and Cal traced the envelope's origin to a private postal box near the Swan River. CCTV showed a figure in a hooded raincoat, face obscured, moving with deliberate grace. Cal zoomed the footage. Tall, left-handed, from the way they held the package. "Not much else," Mia said. "But whoever it is, they want an audience." As lightning fractured the Perth skyline, Mia's mobile buzzed. Unknown number. A distorted voice, low and amused. "Detective Lawson, 2 cards down. How many in the deck?" Mia kept her tone even. "Why me?" "You're the only one who'll understand." The line clicked dead. Near midnight, the storm finally broke. Rain hammered the city as Mia and Cal canvassed the deserted riverside where the courier had first appeared. Streetlights flickered in the downpour. Then, a splash. Something bobbed against the jetty pylons. Mia's torch found it. A third card, sealed in plastic to keep it dry. The Jack of Clubs. And beneath it, written on waterproof paper, "The final card falls at midnight tomorrow. Stop me if you can." Mia felt the weight of the city press in, the sense that somewhere out there, a predator was not just taunting her, but orchestrating a performance. Each card a countdown. Each hour, a dare. She pocketed the evidence and looked to Cal. "We've got 24 hours. Cal's jaw tightened. "Until what?" Mia stared into the rain. "Until someone dies, or the deck runs out." Midnight countdown. The morning after the third card arrived, Perth felt brittle, like a pane of glass ready to shatter. The night storm had cleared, leaving the city scrubbed bright and unnervingly calm. Detective Sergeant Mia Lawson hadn't slept. She'd spent the small hours replaying the distorted phone call until each syllable dug splinters under her skin. At the incident room, the whiteboard was crowded with photos. The Fremantle Cafe, the Courier's grainy still, the three cards, Ace of Spades, Queen of Hearts, Jack of Clubs, pinned in sequence like a gambler's dream gone sour. Detective Cal Ward entered balancing two flat whites. "Strong as a steel beam," he said, sliding one to her. "You look like you spent the night boxing kangaroos." "Felt like it," Mia replied, sipping the scalding coffee. "Any movement on the DNA from the first card?" "Nothing. Whoever bled on it isn't in any database. Forensics reckon it was drawn deliberately, clean-cut like from a medical kit." Mia drummed her fingers on the desk. "They're staging it. The blood isn't an accident, it's an invitation." By mid-morning, a call came from Commissioner Patel. "Lawson, the Premier's breathing down my neck. If this card killer—" "Don't use that name," Mia cut in. "Whoever it is strikes tonight, we'll have a panic on our hands. I need a result before sunset." "We're closing in," Mia said, though the words felt hollow. Clues began to stitch themselves together in fragments. CCTV analysts finally spotted a detail the night shift had missed. On the courier footage, a tiny logo on the left sleeve of the hooded coat, Harbour Medical Supply, a company that serviced hospitals across Western Australia. Cal whistled. "Medical gear explains the surgical cut for the blood," Mia nodded. "Let's talk to them." Shh! The Harbour Medical Supply warehouse loomed near the docks, a corrugated iron labyrinth that smelled of disinfectant and seawater. Manager Eloise Tan greeted them with wary eyes. "We supply half the city's clinics," Eloise said. "Lab coats, gloves, sterile kits. What's this about?" Mia showed her the courier still. Eloise squinted. "Hard to tell with that hood. Could be anyone. We've had a few break-ins lately, someone nicking surgical packs." "Any staff fit the height and build?" Cal asked. Eloise hesitated. "Maybe Reed Calloway, ex-paramedic, left last year after a disciplinary review. Big fella, left-handed, quiet. Gave me the creeps." Mia's senses sharpened. "Address?" They drove to Reed Calloway's last known flat, a tired brick complex in East Perth. The door hung open, wind chimes jangling in the breeze. Inside smelled of bleach and cold steel. Pinned to the wall above a bare mattress were playing cards, each marked with handwritten dates and times. Some were old and yellowed, others fresh. At the center, one card gleamed, the King of Diamonds. Today's date scrawled beneath, midnight. Cal swore. "He's telling us his finale." Mia scanned the room. A single scrap of paper lay on the floor, damp from an overturned glass. Elizabeth Quay, midnight. As dusk bled into night, Elizabeth Quay transformed into a carnival of shadows and neon. Food trucks sizzled, Ferris wheel lights danced across the Swan River. Families lingered, oblivious to the threat. Mia coordinated plainclothes officers through her earpiece. "Eyes on every exit. No hero moves. We catch him clean." Rain threatened again, clouds stacking over the city like bruises. At 11:47 p.m., a ripple of movement caught Mia's eye, a tall figure in a dark coat near the ferry dock. Left hand gloved, right hand holding a small case. "Calloway!" Mia shouted, sprinting. The figure turned, the hood slipping back to reveal a pale, angular face and eyes that glimmered with manic calm. "You made it," Reed said, voice low but free of distortion now. "I knew you'd understand the game." "What game?" Mia kept her pistol trained but steady. "Cards tell stories. Chance, fate, consequence. I'm just showing Perth the cost of ignoring the unlucky." "You've hurt people to make a point?" Reed's lips twitched. "Not yet. The final card decides." He flicked his wrist. The King of Diamonds tumbled into the air, catching the Ferris wheel light as it spun. Mia lunged forward, catching his arm just as a sharp metallic click echoed. The small case in his other hand popped open, revealing a vial of deep red liquid wired to a crude device. "Bomb squad!" Mia barked into her mic, Reed's eyes burned. "Every system fails eventually, Detective. Tonight, luck runs out." Cal skidded in behind her, weapon drawn. "Drop it, mate. Now!" For a heartbeat, the world narrowed to rain, the smell of river water, and the glittering card drifting toward the wet pavement. Then, sirens. A shout. The bomb tech surged in, hands precise. Reed froze, gaze fixed on Mia. "You pulled the right card," he whispered. The device was wrested away. The crowd, only now realizing the danger, scattered with a low, rolling panic. Later, as Reed was cuffed and led to the waiting van, he looked back, rain running off his face like tears. Every deck needs a dealer. Detective, you're better at it than me. Mia exhaled only when the doors slammed. Cal clapped her shoulder. Bloody hell, Lawson. You always pick the high-stakes cases. She managed a tired grin. Someone's got to keep the house honest. Back at the station near dawn, Mia placed the King of Diamonds in an evidence sleeve. The red diamond winked under the fluorescent lights, a silent reminder that the game was never really over. Shadows after the storm. The first pale wash of daylight over Perth should have felt like relief. But to Detective Sergeant Mia Lawson, it was another warning. She'd learned long ago that crime didn't clock off just because one villain was cuffed. From the observation deck above the Perth City Station holding cells, Mia watched Reed Calloway sit perfectly still. He looked less like a man who'd nearly set off a chemical bomb and more like someone waiting for a late train, calm, patient, detached. Detective Cal Ward joined her, 2 mugs of black coffee in hand. I'd celebrate, but something about this feels unfinished. Mia sipped, eyes never leaving Reed. Because it is. He didn't fight, Cal. He wanted to be caught. The interrogation. In the interview room, Reed offered a thin smile as they entered. You stopped the device, he said. Well played. This isn't a game, Mia replied. Why the cards? Why the theatrics? Reed leaned forward. You think the deck's complete? A standard pack has 52. I dealt only 4. Cal's pen stilled. 4? So what? 48 more copycats? Reed shrugged. I'm just the opener. The shuffle began years ago. Others will draw next. Mia felt a knot tighten in her stomach. Names. Give me something we can use. He tapped a slow rhythm on the table, each beat like a countdown. The deck cuts itself. You'll see the next card soon enough. The unexpected link. The unexpected link, the 10th session with a discovery. The blood, the ace of spades, matched an unidentified female whose DNA had surfaced once before, at an unsolved double homicide in Geraldton 3 years earlier. Mia scanned the old case file. 2 victims, both small-time gamblers, killed execution style in a back alley card game. No suspects. Cal raised an eyebrow. Could be coincidence. Or a pattern we've missed, Mia said. Reed might be a disciple, not the architect. Rumblings in the city. By midday, Perth's tabloids were screaming dealer of death across their front pages. Social feeds buzzed with theories, secret cults, underground casinos, vigilantes. The premier demanded reassurance. Commissioner Patel barked into Mia's phone. Tell me this is wrapped, Lawson. It's not, Mia said bluntly. There's a bigger network. Reed's just the first card on the table. A visit from the past. While Cal coordinated follow-ups, Mia stepped out for air and nearly collided with Angela Rowe, an investigative journalist she hadn't seen since academy days. Angela held a tablet brimming with notes. Heard you caught the card killer, Angela said, eyes sharp. But someone leaked a name, the dealer's circle. Ring any bells? Mia frowned. Where'd you hear that? An encrypted forum used by high-stakes gamblers. Word is, the circle chooses dealers to remind the city that luck's an illusion. Reed was just dealing the first hand. Angela leaned closer. There's chatter about another draw. Tonight. The next card back in the incident room, analysts scoured the forum tip. A new post blinked onto the dark web feed. The deck reshuffles at dusk. West End Theater. Curtain at 9. Cal blew out a breath. That's in Northbridge. Old theater's been empty for years. Mia checked her watch. 6 hours. Setting the trap. The West End Theater sat like a forgotten relic, its Art Deco facade scarred by graffiti. As dusk spread purple over the city, tactical teams slipped into position. Inside, dust motes drifted through torchlight. Rows of cracked red seats faced a stage where faded velvet curtains sagged. Then a sound, the crisp flick of cards shuffling. Mia's heart kicked. Everyone hold positions, she whispered into her mic. A single spotlight blazed to life center stage. Beneath it stood a woman in a black suit, face shadowed by a wide-brimmed hat. Detective Lawson, the woman said, voice smooth as silk. Congratulations on catching my apprentice. Mia stepped forward, weapon drawn. Hands where I can see them. The woman smiled faintly and tossed a playing card into the air. It landed at Mia's feet. 10 of hearts, edges slick with fresh blood. Your move, the stranger said, then snapped her fingers. The theater lights exploded into blinding white. When the glare faded, the stage was empty. Aftermath. Officers swarmed every exit, but the woman had vanished. The card's blood matched the same unidentified female from the Geraldton murders, the same as the first card. Cal stared at the evidence bag. She was here, alive, right under our noses. Mia pocketed the card with a grim resolve. Reed wasn't lying. The deck's far from finished. Outside, thunder rolled across the city once again, as if Perth itself knew the game had only begun. The dealer's circle. The following dawn found Detective Sergeant Mia Lawson staring at the blood-streaked 10 of hearts on her desk. The crimson stain had dried to a dull rust, but its message pulsed in her mind. Your move. Across the incident room, Cal Ward hung a new evidence photo beside the others. The board now displayed a crooked hand of cards: Ace of Spades, Queen of Hearts, Jack of Clubs, King of Diamonds, 10 of Hearts, each linked by red string like a gambler's conspiracy chart. Cal rubbed his temples. 5 cards down. Whoever's dealing this game isn't slowing. They're escalating, Mia said, and they're enjoying every second. A lead in the data forensic tech, Kai Rennick, approached with a laptop. I chased the Geraldton cold case again. Got a hit, sort of. That unidentified female DNA shows partial overlap with a woman reported missing 15 years ago, Lydia Harcourt, professional poker player. Vanished after a high-stakes tournament in Sydney. Case went nowhere. Mia scanned the grainy photo. Lydia, mid-20s, confident smile, eyes sharp enough to cut glass. Could be our theater ghost. Maybe, Kai said, but Lydia would be pushing 40 now. People change, Mia murmured, but a gambler never forgets the game. Reed's revelation. Mia returned to the holding cell. Reed Calloway looked almost cheerful. She came to you, he said before she spoke. Did you enjoy the show? Mia kept her voice cool. The woman in the theater, Lydia Harcourt? Reed tilted his head, amused. Names are for ordinary players. She's the dealer. I was only the shuffle. What's her endgame? She believes chance is a lie. That people need reminding life is just a deck waiting to be cut. Each card, a lesson. Mia leaned closer. Where does she strike next? Reed smiled. You'll never catch a ghost following the rules. #Whisper Networks. Desperate for a foothold, Mia contacted journalist Angela Rowe again. Angela arrived at the station with fresh intel. I traced the encrypted gambling forum back to a private members club, the Velvet Pit. Exclusive, underground, big money poker. Guess who allegedly founded it 15 years ago? Mia's pulse quickened. Lydia Harcourt, Angela nodded. Word is the club hosts an invite-only tournament tonight. Winner takes the dealer's crown. Whatever that means. Cal exhaled. Sounds like our next card draw. The Velvet Pit. The club hid beneath an unmarked warehouse in Perth's Chinatown district. After dusk, its narrow stairwell throbbed with bass and the scent of expensive whiskey. Inside, velvet-draped tables glittered under chandeliers, while high rollers in tailored suits shuffled chips like nervous magpies. Mia and Cal entered in plain clothes, concealed earpieces linking them to a tactical team outside. A maitre d' in a crimson waistcoat greeted them. Invitation? Mia slid a fabricated membership card across the table, a forgery whipped up by text that afternoon. After a long pause, he nodded them through. Face to face. At the far table, a hush fell as a woman emerged from behind a velvet curtain. She wore a midnight blue suit and that same wide-brimmed hat. Lydia Harcourt, or whoever she had become, moved with the unhurried confidence of a queen in her own castle. Welcome, players, Lydia said, her voice carrying a musical edge. Tonight's prize isn't money. It's destiny. She produced a silver case of cards, fanning them in a single, graceful motion. One hand. Winner decides the city's luck. Mia felt the hairs on her neck rise. This wasn't just theater. It was a recruitment. Cal whispered. She's building a cult. Ha! The hand begins. Lydia invited 6 players, including Mia, to the main table. Chips clinked as the game started. Mia played cautiously, every sense alert. Lydia's eyes flicked to her with quiet recognition. Detective, Lydia said softly, almost warmly. Glad you accepted the invitation. This ends tonight, Mia replied. Lydia smiled. Nothing ends. We reshuffle. As the final betting round neared, Lydia dealt Mia a pair of red 10s, hearts and diamonds. A winning hand if played right. Fate favors the bold, Lydia murmured. Mia pushed a stack of chips forward, signaling all in. Chaos unleashed. Before the river card was revealed, a deafening bang rattled the chandeliers. Smoke poured from the stairwell. Flashbang grenades from the tactical team responding to a silent signal from Cal. Patrons screamed and scattered. Officers flooded the room. Lydia stood, unflinching. And so the house intervenes, she said, almost laughing. Mia lunged, but Lydia flicked her wrist, sending another blood-streaked card spinning across the table. 7 of spades. By the time Mia reached the spot, Lydia had vanished into the chaos, leaving only the card and a whisper of expensive perfume. Aftermath. Outside, under the neon glow of Chinatown, Mia studied the 7 of spades sealed in an evidence bag. The blood matched Lydia's previous samples. Cal kicked at the wet pavement. She slipped us again? Like smoke. Mia stared into the restless night. This isn't a chase anymore. It's a performance, and we're still in the first act. Thunder rumbled far off over the Indian Ocean, and Mia couldn't shake the feeling that the next draw was already set. The house always wins. The Velvet Pit Raid dominated every news outlet by sunrise. Headlines screamed "City in the grip of card cult," while talkback radio crackled with callers claiming to have spotted the mysterious dealer in every suburb from Subiaco to Scarborough. Detective Sergeant Mia Lawson ignored the noise. She sat in the incident room, rain hammering the windows, staring at the 7 of spades sealed in its plastic sleeve. The blood analysis was back, the same partial profile, Lydia Harcourt, still no match in national databases. Cal Ward set down 2 takeaway coffees. If she can disappear in a smoke cloud, maybe she can fake DNA too. Mia shook her head. No, she wants us to know it's her. Every card is a signature. Reed's last play before dawn, Mia paid a final visit to Reed Calloway in the remand cell. He greeted her with a slow clap. "She dealt you in," he said. "Congratulations." "She's not finished," Mia countered. "Where is she going?" Reed tilted his head, expression almost pitying. "You still think she's moving like a criminal. She's moving like a card trick. The next draw isn't about place. It's about time." "What time?" "The solstice," he murmured. "High tide, when the moon cuts the river." Mia froze. The winter solstice was tomorrow night. Tides and targets. Back in the office, Mia pulled tide charts for the Swan River. High tide aligned with 11:58 p.m., almost midnight. Angela Rose's voice crackled through Mia's mobile before she could even call. "You're chasing Lydia, aren't you?" Angela said. "I've got something. An encrypted live stream is scheduled for tomorrow night. Anonymous host. Title's just one word, Showdown. The source pings to a floating IP on the river." Cal glanced over Mia's shoulder. "Floating IP could be a boat." Mia nodded. "Elizabeth Quay again. Big enough crowds, easy escape routes." The net tightens. Through the next day, tactical teams mapped every pier and ferry terminal. Divers swept the riverbed for hidden caches. A mobile command post was set up near the bell tower, its antennae bristling like a hedgehog. Commissioner Patel called hourly. "This ends tomorrow, Lawson. No more theatrics." "It ends when she lets it," Mia said, and hung up. Solstice night. The winter solstice draped Perth in a silver gloom. The river swelled against the pylons, a slow heartbeat beneath the city lights. Crowds gathered for the official solstice festival, fire sculptures, live music, food stalls, unaware of the trap beneath their feet. Mia moved through the throng in plain clothes, Cal a few steps behind, both wired to the ops team. At 11:40 p.m., the public stage lights dimmed. A hush fell, broken by the hiss of a giant digital screen flickering to life over the river. A woman's silhouette appeared, wide-brimmed hat, unmistakable poise. Lydia. "Good evening, Perth," her voice purred through hidden speakers. "Tonight, the deck decides who keeps their illusions." The floating table spotlights ignited across the water, revealing a sleek black barge anchored mid-river. In its center, a round card table glowing under a single hanging lamp. Mia's earpiece crackled. Thermal scan shows one heat signature. She's really out there. Mia grabbed a commandeered dinghy and gunned the motor, spray soaking her coat. Cal followed in a second boat. As they drew near, Lydia rose gracefully. Up close, she was older than the photos, but radiated the same unshakable confidence. "Detective," she greeted. "Welcome to the final hand." "End this," Mia said. "No more blood." Lydia smiled. There was never blood enough to matter, only choice. She placed a single card on the table, ace of diamonds, its edge glistening red. "One cut decides the city's luck," Lydia said. "Draw, or the river swallows the truth." The cut. Mia stepped forward, every nerve screaming. "What happens if I draw?" "You accept that chance rules everything," Lydia replied. "And the game continues. Refuse, and the deck scatters, chaos without order." Cal's voice carried from behind. "Don't play her game, Mia!" But Mia felt a strange calm. The crowd on shore was holding its breath, the river itself seemed to wait. She reached out and flipped the card. Beneath it lay another. 2 of clubs, blank, no blood. Lydia's eyes shone. You chose the lowest black. The house survives. She gave a slow nod, almost respectful, then stepped backward into the river. Before Mia could react, a concussive flash erupted beneath the barge. Water and smoke roared upward, blinding. Aftermath, divers dragged the river for hours, no body surfaced. Only Lydia's wide-brimmed hat floated to shore, dark and perfect against the moonlit tide. The solstice festival resumed hesitantly, music rising to mask the sirens. On the quay, Commissioner Patel confronted Mia. "Tell me it's over." Mia stared at the hat in the evidence bag. "It's never over, she just reshuffled." Cal joined her, silent for a long moment. Finally he said, "House always wins, eh?" Mia watched the river swallow the moon's reflection and thought of the missing cards, dozens still unplayed. "The deck's still out there," she said softly. "And so is she." The deck never sleeps. The Swan River glittered under a thin winter sun, but Detective Sergeant Mia Lawson knew better than to trust calm water. 2 days had passed since Lydia Harcourt, the dealer, had vanished into the tide, and Perth was still holding its breath. Every few hours, a new rumor surfaced. Lydia sighted in Geraldton, in Darwin, even on a cruise ship headed for Singapore. None held up. Yet anonymous posts kept appearing on the encrypted forum, each signed with a small red diamond. The first read, "Shuffle complete, draw soon." Loose ends. Mia sat in the incident room, sleeves rolled to the elbow, eyes burning from lack of sleep. The evidence board remained crowded with cards, ace of spades through 2 of clubs, each like a frozen heartbeat. Detective Cal Ward entered carrying a fresh stack of reports. Search teams dragged 20 kilometers downstream, not a trace of her. "She's alive," Mia said flatly. Cal sighed. "Even ghosts leave footprints." "She's not a ghost," Mia replied. "Just a player who knows the game better than we do." A call from Geraldton. The phone rang, a coastal detective from Geraldton, voice tight. "We reopened that 3-year-old double homicide you flagged. Someone broke into the evidence locker last night, left a single card, 9 of diamonds. Blood on it matches your Lydia profile." Mia's stomach clenched. The circle was expanding the board. Reed's final gambit. Against her better judgment, Mia visited Reed Calloway again. The former paramedic sat cross-legged on his cell bed, expression serene. "She's drawing the high diamonds now," he said before Mia spoke. "Tell me where?" Mia demanded. Reed's eyes gleamed. "Where? Everywhere. She's teaching you the lesson. Luck can't be locked away. When the deck is scattered, every street is a table." Mia studied him. "You wanted to be caught to get close to me." "Why?" "Because you're the only one who sees the pattern," Reed whispered. "When the final shuffle comes, you'll need a dealer of your own." By dusk, a new emergency call came in. A warehouse fire in East Perth. On a scorched concrete pillar, firefighters found a single card, 5 of hearts. No fingerprints, but the same type O negative blood. The timeline was fracturing. Lydia couldn't be in Geraldton and Perth simultaneously. Cal scowled at the map. "Either she's bilocating or she's not working alone anymore," Mia finished. The dealer's circle had grown. Breaking the code, forensic tech Kai Rennick traced the pattern of card numbers, running them through every algorithm he knew. Finally, just after midnight, he called out, "The sequence, ace, queen, jack, king, 10, 7, ace, 9, 5. It's not random. It's a perfect bridge deal. North, south, east, west. Each suit spells coordinates when you overlay them on the Swan River grid." Mia bent over the map. The final point glowed red at Kings Park, high above the city. Kings Park Showdown. Pre-dawn mist cloaked the giant gum trees as tactical teams swept the botanic gardens. Birdsong mixed with the muted thrum of helicopter blades. Mia's earpiece crackled. Movement near the State War Memorial. She jogged up the path and saw a solitary figure silhouetted against the city lights. Lydia Harcourt, dry, immaculate, as though she'd stepped from a dream rather than a river. "You found the table," Lydia said, voice carrying through the fog. "You've got half the state terrified," Mia replied. "It ends now." Lydia tilted her head. "Terrified?" "No, awakened. Everyone gambles every day. Jobs, love, life. I only made the stakes visible." "You've killed people," Mia shot back. "I never killed anyone. I just dealt the cards. People chose how to play them." She extended a gloved hand. In her palm lay a final card, Joker, its edge traced with bright, fresh blood. "One last cut, detective. Lydia said. The Joker decides if the game continues. The draw. Mia stepped closer, weapon lowered but ready. What happens if I take it? You accept that order is an illusion, Lydia whispered. And maybe you save a life. Refuse, and chaos chooses for you. Mia reached out, snatched the card. A sudden wail of sirens split the dawn as hidden officers converged. Lydia smiled, calm, radiant, and stepped backward off the memorial's stone ledge. A single gunshot cracked. Mia lunged, but Lydia was already gone into the misted gorge below. Aftermath hours later, divers reported nothing. No body, no footprints past the ledge, just a smear of blood matching the Joker card. Commissioner Patel stared at the evidence bag. You had her. How does someone vanish from a hilltop surrounded by cops? Mia offered no answer. She only studied the Joker, the blood still bright as if mocking the sunrise. Epilogue. Weeks later, as Perth tried to settle back into routine, letters began arriving at random homes across Western Australia. Inside each, a single clean playing card. No blood, no fingerprints. Mia received hers late one evening, a 3 of clubs, pristine. On the back, a handwritten note. Your deal, detective. She placed it atop the others in her drawer, the unfinished deck now nearly complete. Outside her window, the city glittered, restless and alive, every light a gambler's chip on the dark table of night. Mia closed the drawer, but kept the key in her pocket. The game was far from over, and she knew, somewhere, whether on a river or a rooftop, the dealer's circle was already shuffling the next hand.